Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Chirp. This is a weekly sports podcast. I'm Noah Johnson. Aodhan Doyle is on the right side of the screen in freezing cold Syracuse, New York.
Negative temperatures up here, baby. Negative temperatures.
February in Syracuse is not the most pleasant place in the world. All right, so before this topic gets too dated, let's start with Super Bowl 50. A week ago, Peyton Manning wins one more. Hopefully, his last game for his sake.
Hopefully for all of our sakes. I'm not sure I can take another year of ducks and immobility. But
he's not gonna pull the John Elway.
Please,
clearly. Well, I mean, Elway also, could still
hold his own.
Yeah, could still, throw.
Which is a key element in today's NFL. So.
Yeah. Okay. So let us begin with the defenses, because this really was a game dominated by the defenses. And my first point that I want to make is, in my mind, as good as the Denver defense was. And, congratulations to Von Miller for winning Super Bowl 50 by himself, basically. And, the whole unit was fantastic. The secondary was great. DeMarcus Ware was great. Carolina couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. They had great defensive scheme, even though that's really what you expect with Wade Phillips. As good as they were, and again, Von Miller, probably the best individual defensive performance that I've ever seen in the Super Bowl. As good as they were, I would like to just suggest that the Panthers defense actually played a better game. And because here's the thing.
They did look good except for that opening drive.
The opening drive, they had the one blown coverage, which set up Denver. That's fine.
Yeah. But
if you think about it this way, they only allowed one touchdown, and that was. We'll get to that play with Cam Newton, not going after the ball, and they shouldn't have even been put in that position. But for what their offense did to them throughout the game, because they were in horrible situations, the entire game, to hold Denver to 3 field goals, and then the touchdown, which that shouldn't have happened anyway.
Carolina had 315 total yards on offense. Denver only had 194.
Yeah,
I mean
exactly. Carolina turned the ball over 4 times.
Yeah,
4 turnovers in the Super Bowl against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, top 5 quarterback.
If Carolina somehow wins that game, the story isn't Cam Newton. The story is the defense holding Denver to.
The story would be Coney Ealy, who would have been the MVP.
Interception, forced fumble, sacks.
Fumble recovery. It was unbelievable. I mean, not as good as Von Miller. I mean, Von Miller was in on every play.
Yeah.
But, Ealy...
although Ealy did have half of a sack more than...
Yeah, he had 3 sacks. And it was great. And on top of that, they shut down Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas had 1 reception for 8 yards.
1 reception, 8 yards. He was a non-factor. One of the best wide receivers
in the game,
in the NFL,
without a doubt.
They took him out of the game.
Yeah, and I think some of that has to be attributed to Josh Norman having an unbelievable season. And Norman had a couple of plays where it was obviously tough plays, but there are some catches that could have been made on defense which really would have swung the momentum back in Carolina's favor that just didn't get made. But you're right, Demaryius Thomas, complete non-factor.
That was great. The only guy that kind of got him was Emmanuel Sanders. But,
yes.
I mean, that's fine. You can't take away anyone, and even he only had 83 yards.
Yes.
So that's fine. Great game, and based on the situations they were in, on that stage, I was incredibly impressed because, they, as good as Denver's defense was, Carolina's offense still shouldn't have put them in those situations.
Yeah.
And for them to actually, make a game out of it, I thought all the credit in the world to them. I thought they were great. But, and this kind of relates to the turnovers we mentioned, the 4 turnovers. And this is the second point I want to make about the game. Looking at the game as a whole, I think Carolina's defense played better than I played better or had a better game slightly than Denver, just based on the situations. And overall, I think as good as Denver's defense was, that more so than Denver winning the game, Carolina lost that game.
I always have a tough time saying anybody lost a game more than a team won a game.
No. Think about this. Ready?
Yes.
I'm running you through this. Tolbert's fumble, right? First half, the second one that he lost.
Yeah.
If he doesn't fumble right there, all right, which he shouldn't have, if he holds onto the ball, Carolina gets at least a field goal.
It's still a forced fumble, though. You have to give some credit to Denver.
He should have held on to the ball. Fine, yes.
He should have, yes.
And then the interception through Ted Ginn's hands was awful. Okay?
There is a reason why Ted Ginn isn't exactly considered a top 10 receiver in the league.
If he gets a finger on it, if he even gets a finger, it went right through his hands.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
If he tips it, they might score a touchdown. They'll get at least a field goal. And the game's 16-16, and Carolina wouldn't have turned the ball over on the last possession like that. And Denver was not going to score again.
Denver couldn't put anything together all day.
They couldn't. They were awful after. I mean, they had a couple decent drives. Peyton Manning, recurring theme. Same thing with in the Pittsburgh game and in the New England game. He had one good drive the entire game, and that was the first one against Carolina. And that might have been more about the Panthers than about the Broncos.
Peyton came out firing. I honestly expected them to run the ball for the first few plays, and he came out throwing the ball. They basically tore apart Carolina's defense on that opening drive. And you're like, okay, like I guess we're seeing a different Peyton Manning here. Maybe it's a renaissance. Back to when he could actually throw. But I mean, the first pass of the game was an 18-yard completion to Owen Daniels. It was like,
who I was surprised he wasn't in the game more. That was his only catch.
He had a good game. Owen Daniels had a solid game. I mean, didn't he have the?
No, he only had
did he have the 2-point? No, he didn't have the 2-point conversion.
He only had one catch.
Yeah.
So I thought in my mind I thought he was going to play a bigger part, but they didn't need him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
defense was.
They only had 13 completions throwing the ball.
I know.
We've had Brandon Marshall had what 21, 22 receptions in a game. So
it was so un-Peyton Manning-like.
It's new Peyton Manning.
It's Peyton Manning. Well, not really 2.0.
Well, it's end of Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning 1.5.
Which I really hope he just retires. I mean, I love Peyton as much as anybody, but come on, Peyton. Just ride off on your white horse into the sunset.
He should. I'd hate to have him come back next year and be, just dreadful.
Yeah, I mean, especially don't come back to Denver at least. It's like Denver needs to move on at this point. Denver had the
Brock Osweiler.
Peyton Manning era. They had the Peyton Manning era, and that has come to a close. If he stays on, they're just delaying the inevitable fact that they're going to have to move on from Peyton at some point.
They won't keep him.
If John Elway's intelligent, which he has proved to be as an executive, then he won't.
Moving away from Tebow was a good decision.
Hey, don't. I love Tim Tebow.
I know.
Tim Tebow deserves a shot in the NFL.
Do you love him on the field?
He wins.
Well, I mean,
and don't give me this Nate Ryan, nonsense.
He's one of our friends.
He can't throw. You can't throw. You have to be able to throw. Well, yeah. Well, he threw an 87-yard bomb to Demaryius Thomas.
That was more about Demaryius Thomas than Tebow, though.
That may be true, but
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Peyton Manning. You're talking about Peyton Manning. Yeah, go the Osweiler route, because to be honest, this Super Bowl, and I'm not taking anything away from Manning, and as much as I dislike him on the field, he really is he is one of the nicest people
No,
in
yeah.
professional sports, and it was admittedly it was nice to see him win this one. It was nice to see that, but if you really break it down, this entire season was more about Osweiler
Oh yeah, they don't
and the
make
defense
they
than
don't
about
get the number
Manning.
one seed without Osweiler, and obviously they don't get the number one seed without the defense, but they don't get it without Osweiler because he played well as a starter.
The
I mean, he wasn't great, he wasn't all pro NFL, but
Yeah,
got
no,
the
no,
job done
agreed. Biggest game of the year was that New England game for them.
in the regular season.
Not the
Yeah,
AFC Championship game
yeah.
on Sunday Night Football in the snow. Because if they don't win that game, as good as Denver's defense is, they don't win in New England.
Oh, I agree
They
with
don't
that
win in New England,
100%.
which, as a Patriots fan, that Week 17 game against the Dolphins, which they just gave up. The Dolphins are terrible, and they gave it up. They gave up home field advantage, and that's a rant for another time. I
And
don't.
no love for my boy Ryan Tannehill.
No, he was awful. The whole thing.
Ryan Tannehill is a good NFL quarterback, and
Good. He's not a Super Bowl winner. And granted,
the Dolphins aren't Super Bowl winners.
I was gonna say, granted, he didn't have the greatest supporting cast or coaching staff this
Although
season.
Jarvis Landry has a future in this league. He's going to
No,
be.
yeah, I know. I agree with that. I like Landry a lot. But okay, back to Super Bowl.
Listen, back to
All
the
right,
actual
we're getting
game.
off track. Go back to Super Bowl. So, but all right, let me, because I said Carolina lost this game more than Denver won. Here's the thing. If Carolina doesn't turn the ball over, and before the game, like I was so convinced that Carolina was going to win this game.
I think everyone was. I didn't.
But
Two people who picked Denver, if that.
yeah, the two people like in the world that picked
Yeah,
Denver.
it's Archie and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's right. Even Eli picked Carolina.
It could be Eli probably took the Giants. Didn't know which teams were playing.
Do you think he's salty that Peyton now has 2 Super Bowls too?
Well, yeah, Thanksgiving dinner it becomes. Well, what'd you do this offseason, or what'd you do this season?
Well, don't you think like that was in their, in my head they still have these family squabbles?
Oh yeah. Now
So do you think like his one piece of ammunition is gone now?
Peyton goes back to being Archie's favorite.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that was the one thing Eli had over Peyton was the 2 Super Bowl rings, and now he doesn't have that. They're tied.
Yeah.
Tell me when Eli gets to 539 career touchdown passes.
Okay. But all right, moving back to the game.
Yes.
Okay, are you all right over there? You look
Yes.
paranoid.
There are people down the hallway who are very loud.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
It's inevitable though.
Yeah, right.
College
Based on your
problems.
current situation.
Yeah.
All right, so 60. All right, so if Carolina doesn't turn the ball over 16-16,
Yes.
if they don't turn the ball over in their own area, but before the game, or in their own territory, or in Denver territory, before the game, the only way I thought that Carolina loses this game is if they turn the ball over. Or like turn the ball over considerably more than Denver. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Jesus, what?
I go to a loud school apparently. It's
Yeah. Well, no, I'm in a good room.
yeah, I'm in a hallway, so
I feel you, man. I feel bad for you.
but when I look at the way I looked at it going into the game is the only way Denver wins the game is force Cam Newton to throw the ball. If they can take out Carolina's run offense, they're fine. Newton only had a 59.8 completion percentage this year. That's not good. And if you get him back there waiting which Denver has a good secondary. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, Bradley Roby, TJ Ward at safety. That's a good secondary. If you can lock down the receivers, quote unquote receivers, that Carolina has, and force Newton to throw the ball. You allow him to rush, or you allow Miller and Ware to come off the edge, rushing. Derek Wolfe kind of rushing inside, and that's exactly what they did. They were able to put pressure on Newton all day and got nothing accomplished through the air.
No, that's a good point. I was surprised that they didn't, especially at halftime when they had gotten nothing going the entire first half. I was surprised that Carolina didn't try to do more with Newton's legs.
That's the only place they found success.
Right. I was surprised because they really, if they ran the ball for the most part, they were really devoted to using, Jonathan Stewart, and he had 29 yards. If they could,
Not only are we loud, we're quite unique, to put it a certain type of way.
all right.
Cam Newton running the ball.
Cam Newton running the ball. We're off to a great start.
The Chirp will have fewer chirps from people who are not involved in the Chirp in the near future.
Yeah, when we don't have to do this on Sunday morning.
In a hallway.
Yeah. Okay. What are we talking about here?
Cam Newton running the ball.
Cam Newton running the ball. He got outside the pocket, but which is what I was thinking. Looking into the game, that was kind of that was kind of my thoughts. Like, all right, he's going to get out of the pocket and find open receivers or run the ball. He got out of the pocket, but he didn't get out of the pocket until it had completely collapsed and he was running for his life.
Oh yeah.
So.
And he was still Carolina's leading rusher, though, with 45 yards. Think about that.
60. He averaged 7.5 yards a carry.
45 yards led Carolina's offense in rushing. That's something you haven't seen all season from this Panthers team. And it was a completely different Panthers team.
To Denver's credit, Carolina had never faced an offense. Or not an offense, and they never faced a defense like Denver. And I know Cam Newton, certainly in his career, has never faced a defense like that.
I mean, Arizona has a good defense, and Carolina made them look pathetic, beating them 49-15. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and I like Arizona a lot, but Denver really just, oh my God, that was like, I'm still just. I don't remember. I mean, 13 Seahawks were incredible.
They were great.
But it was a different type of defense. They just came at you from all different angles, and if you tried to throw against them, the Legion of Boom was there to stop you. Back when Byron Maxwell was exactly what he is, the number 3 or 4 corner on a team. Yeah, Philadelphia Eagles don't pay him like a number 1.
But listen, what I think makes this even more impressive in our minds than the Seahawks was that no one expected Denver to win.
Yeah.
And no one expected them to dominate like that. I think going into that game in 2013 or 2014, I guess, 2013 season, I think most people were expecting Seattle to maybe not play that well, but they were expecting them to take control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, in 2013, you had the number 1 offense, a historic offense. Peyton coming off of 55 touchdowns, new record in passing yards, highest scoring offense in NFL history versus a great defense. And at this time, the NFL is still transitioning into a offense league, but it's still been proven. Denver wins the championship.
Defense wins championships.
Defense wins championships.
Doesn't matter the sport.
Defense wins championships, and
we saw it again this year.
That's what we've seen, and so I think, at least in 2013, it hadn't been seen in a few years, like number 1 versus number 1, and defense came out on top in a unbelievable fashion. And now we have a team where a lot of people just pick Carolina because Cam Newton's the song of the summer, and Peyton's the old Beethoven track that your grandpa listens to. But
good analogy.
Yeah, I thought of that one all by myself.
Nice. Well done. Proud of
Yeah,
you. Okay.
what I'm here for.
All right. Now, looking at the game like play by play, there's a few specific events like that. That was kind of like my overall impression of the game. And again, doing a lot of blaming of Carolina, but congratulate Denver's defense deserves all the credit in the world. Congratulations to Peyton Manning, all that fun stuff. But there are there is a few there are a few different things that that I want to bring up, like specific plays that and starting with the Jericho Cotchery play.
Which I
That
think was a catch. It was a
that
catch.
was a catch.
It was a catch.
How
There is
on
not
earth?
enough because the original call was incomplete. There
There was
isn't.
enough evidence. It never hit the ground.
But it was bobbling all of it, and I
It never
can
hit the
show you
ground.
a picture of it where it's hitting the ground.
He had control. With the points on the
I,
ground when he's rolling over it.
it was a
Talking about?
catch,
It was
but
such a
I
catch.
I understand why it wasn't called a catch.
No, I don't understand that. That was absurd. And you know why that was so important? Because the next play
Was the fumbles
was a
touchdown?
Von Miller strip sack, and Denver gets a
Yes,
touchdown.
thanks to Malik Jackson.
If the refs get it right, Carolina wins the game.
Why? Because it's a momentum thing, and then
It's not a
Denver
momentum game. Denver wouldn't have had the Denver would have scored 9 points because they wouldn't have had the second touchdown because Carolina would have been leading, so that wouldn't have happened. Not
It's a big play, but you
listen.
cannot tell me the reason Carolina lost is
No,
because
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna play the blame game. I'm not. I'm not gonna blame the officials. I just don't understand how that doesn't get reversed.
it's the same thing we've seen all season. What is a catch?
It made me. I know that's a Des Bryant last year, and who was it? Oh, Calvin Johnson.
Yep, everyone.
Yeah, basically everyone.
I mean, in the game, the Giants and the Patriots played Beckham in the corner of the end zone. Whether or not that was a catch,
that wasn't a catch. Now,
was a
there's some
catch.
bias. There's some bias there,
That was a
but
catch.
no, it was by the letter of the rule, which is
Yeah,
a
and
bad rule because it
if
allows too
Landon
much of a gray
Collins
area.
catches the ball,
I know that's something that has to be addressed in the off season. And you know what else has to be addressed? Because I gonna get worked up if I talk about the Cotchery catch or a non-catch anymore because that was such a catch. Aqib Talib.
should he have been ejected?
Not if not no not that he should have been ejected, but shouldn't there be a bigger penalty than half the distance of the goal when you grab someone's face mask and throw them, halfway into the stands?
He threw him out of the club.
Yeah. So what was that? That was a 1 yard penalty or a
Well,
one and
yeah,
a half
because he
yard penalty.
tackled him at the
I know,
two.
but should it
That's
be
half the distance.
should it be a greater penalty? Like, should there be like a flagrant foul equivalent in the NFL?
Flagrant
Well,
foul.
I don't know. Just
What,
something.
like he has to sit out the next drive or something?
I don't know, or something on the.
Then it gets so technical.
No, I don't know. But you can't tell me that there's something wrong with that play. When
Well,
you
it's not safe for sure.
He got.
But it's intelligent on Talib's part because he knows he's not going to get flagged for it, and it's the way of keeping
Well, no,
him
he got
out.
flagged, but it didn't
Or
matter.
not flagged, but ejected or whatever.
Yeah, but
There's not going to be a further penalty. So Talib's intelligent enough, and trust me, I didn't think Talib played well at all. But
no, he had a bad game.
Talib, was smart enough, intelligent enough, recognized the situation well enough to grab his face mask and stop him at the 2 instead of letting him in.
He could have tackled him without. He could have tackled them without grabbing his face mask.
But at that point, it's an
he
arm
had
tackle. It's got so much momentum going to the end zone that
oh, shut up! No,
it's
no,
true.
no. He could have tackled him legally. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was it.
Sure.
Listen, he was frustrated. He had an awful drive. That drive, it was horrendous.
Oh yeah, he got picked apart all day.
Yeah, but doesn't. Let's just say, because I know you're rooting for Denver. Let's say it's not Denver. Let's just say it's a an unnamed player for an unnamed team. Doesn't there seem to be something wrong with a player grabbing another player's face mask and like twisting him around and ripping him to the ground and only getting a 2 yard penalty? Doesn't there seem to me there's something wrong with that?
Well, it's the half the distance to the goal line penalty. I mean, they're not going to give him a touchdown. There's no way to prove that he would have gotten in.
No, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Obviously, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. But shouldn't there be some additional
What, like points on a driver's
penalty?
license?
Not points. I don't know. Like like a technical, or like if you get two of those you're ejected, or just something like that.
That's what Goodell's proposing this offseason, is that a two personal fouls results in an ejection. So technically, Talib would have been ejected in like the first 5 minutes of the game.
I
And I don't think that's the answer, because if you look at not necessarily just that situation, but there are other personal fouls that, get miscalled or, aren't that bad. And then you're resulting in a play. Football's soft anyways now.
yeah, agreed. I I agree with yeah, I don't know if that's the solution,
It's not.
because
It's not. It's
because
no.
they referees miss a lot of, or miss a lot of personal fouls, and more importantly, they call a lot of personal fouls that aren't, especially with the head-to-head rule.
True. Remember last year when the Patriots won the Super Bowl, the game that
Browner
in San
Yep.
Diego.
Oh
Yep.
yes, one of the best hits I've seen in my life, and they flagged him. I
And it was
couldn't believe
legal. It
was
was
legal hit.
completely legal.
It looked dirty,
Yes, it did. It
and
looked like, oh my God, that's got to be something. But
and
if you watch a replay, it wasn't, and it was incorrectly called.
the wrong player also did it.
Well, yeah, Browner gets
Browner
flagged
has a
for brushing
history.
his teeth in the morning.
Yeah. But that's something to think about. I think it's something to think about, because it's just a 2 yard penalty on that just doesn't seem right. And he was fined appropriately, but not that, how do you know how much it was for?
For Talib, I have
Yeah,
no idea.
it might have been 25 grand or something. Like that's not that's like a slap on the wrist to
Yeah.
a professional athlete.
Yeah, no one
So
cares about 25. They spend 25. They spend 25 grand on jewelry every day. So that's just buying another necklace. Just buying another necklace.
yeah, man. Okay. Um. Actually, I have to bring up the Kachari catch again and look, because I just remember a
Oh
point.
God.
Listen, the biggest problem with that was Rivera having to use a challenge
And then
and burning it.
yeah,
Because that's what bothered me. Um, and he had because he had to use the second one in the second quarter, right?
yes,
Down by contact. Would you have called a challenge there?
no,
Because I don't think I would have either.
because you have to realize that like it's the second quarter,
Yeah.
and I don't care what call it is, unless it's like giving Denver a touchdown. That you could very. What if, for example, in Aqib Talib, why did I just say Aqib Talib? David Tyree catch miraculously occurred in the fourth quarter of this game.
Or Javon Curse.
Something like that. And
Yeah.
it was questionable. And you needed a challenge.
I agree.
You have to think worst case scenario. You have to think your team is good enough and capable enough to overcome whatever missed call the referees just made in the second quarter, because you very well may need a challenge in the fourth.
I agree with that. I wouldn't have had the guts to challenge that.
Going into the second half of a Super Bowl without a challenge?
Right. And also, that's right when Carolina's defense started to really take over. Because the second quarter and on, they were a little rusty in the first quarter, but second quarter and on, they really dominated.
Yeah, Denver put up 3 points in the second, 3 points in the third. And when you think about how many drives they had.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
I know. I know. I wouldn't have called that. I agree with you there. Um, next point. Norwood, the punt return. Did you see anything? Because for refresh our memories here. Carolina's punting. Norwood, what was he at the 30-yard line, 30 yard line? It looks like the entire coverage team from Carolina thinks he calls fair catch, and he takes it back for a 61-yard
He
punt
didn't. He
return.
didn't wave his arm.
He didn't.
It just they assumed because they were absolutely on top of him
That he would
that he
call
was
it.
going to. And I mean, when you think, honestly, the most amazing thing about that catch to me is his ability to catch the ball with Luke Kuechly here and another Panther right here, like literally on top of him. That was an unbelievable catch. And then
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought it was a heck of a play.
No, I did too. And though, looking at the replay, and I'm not saying Norwood didn't do anything wrong. Obviously, like that was called correctly and everything. But if I was on the Carolina coverage team, I may have done the same thing as they did, because it kind of looks like he was kind of going up like this, and it.
The problem is if they don't do anything and he doesn't call it, then he's gone. Like we saw, 60 yards, longest punt return in Super Bowl history or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I was surprised by that. I thought for sure there would be something.
Didn't Jacoby Jones have one?
Or
was that a kick? Oh, that was a kick. Right, that was a kick. You're right.
But if they hit him, and it turns out that he did hit a call fair catch, that's huge.
Yeah. No.
So it's a tough spot for Carolina's coverage team, and either way, you either go with the sure thing that.
Yeah, no,
I can't. I mean, you can't get mad at him for it.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying. I thought it was an interesting play.
It was.
It was an interesting play.
I thought it was a heck of a catch by Norwood. It was a great return, and I thought Carolina was, for the first 3 seconds of it, wait, what? And then kind of reacted.
And a heck of a job for the Panthers' defense to hold them to a field goal after that.
Well, again, like you've mentioned, Carolina's defense had a great game.
Great game. They just put in, and that's not on the Panthers' offense, but just put in bad situations the entire game. Okay. Mentioned Coney Ely, who had a great game.
Yes.
I mean, behind Von Miller, who, again, best individual defensive performance I've ever seen in a Super Bowl, and behind DeMarcus Ware, he was the best player on the field.
Ely had a great game.
The interception
was a heck of a catch.
It was a heck of a catch, and I cannot believe, and it was a bad pass by Manning.
Oh, yeah, it was ugly.
It was an ugly pass.
Awful.
For that, because he's a big man who clearly is not used to holding onto the football. For him not to fumble when he was returning that.
Hey, maybe they practiced it in practice. Wow, practice and practice.
That was one of the most unbelievable things, because I was watching the play. I'm like, I guarantee that he's gonna cough it up, and he didn't. I couldn't believe it. And we mentioned before, he had 3 sacks. It was great. It was great. He was a force. Not
bad for a 6'4", 275-pound DN.
Yeah, and we know how football's height and weight, like, recordings work. So he's probably significantly
bigger.
Well, don't you think that they kind of beef up linemen?
What? So you'll say he's what, like 250, 260? Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I weigh the most right now that I've ever weighed before.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations. I can't believe I'm saying congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Up to 165 pounds.
Oh, shut up. 165 pounds, gained a lot of weight.
6'3", baby. 6'3", 165.
You're a twig.
I am. I really am.
So, did the stiff winds of Syracuse blow you over?
No, I'm holding my own against them, but they're putting up quite a battle.
I really feel bad for you.
It's
Oh
it's
my
it's
god.
pretty bad. I mean, my coat and my gloves and everything are fantastic. I'm warm, but you just don't want to go outside.
Yeah, no,
You're just like, you look out the window and you're like, nah, nope.
it's a big campus too. All right,
It is.
moving on.
Moving on.
Last thing I want to bring up. Actually, second to last thing.
Oh God.
Quickly, did you catch? I'm
You know who
not.
didn't catch? Jericho Cotchery.
That was shit, dude. That's such a catch. He never the boy. That was a catch. It should have been called. I don't. No, that was bad. Oh, okay. Phil Simms. That's where I'm going with this.
This should be interesting.
Okay. Did you catch at the end of the game when he said when he said Dabadooya?
I try not to listen to him too much.
Oh, what's he doing? I don't like these older announcers when they try to use. I mean, sometimes it's adorable and funny, but for the most part, when they try to use newer lingo, if that makes sense. Like, do you remember Dan Dierdorf? He would call Gronkowski the Gronk.
The
I don't.
Gronk.
I just but I like Jim Nance, right? I like Jim Nance, but watching this game, I wish it had been Al Michaels and
Don't
Chris
know.
Collinsworth. You don't
No.
like Al Michaels?
No, I love Al Michaels.
No, listen,
Don't
Collinsworth.
don't give me Chris
Listen,
Collinsworth.
Collinsworth is. And so,
No.
someone brought this up to me. Collinsworth, while he, time to time can be a little, a little away from what's
That's
going on.
saying it nicely.
That at least he's smart when it comes to talking about football. Because listen, here's the thing: if there's like I don't know, like someone breaks up a big run, all right, immediately after the play is over, he will show, like, it's like, all right, did you see, the left tackle with this block, and you see how the tight end swung around? Like, he sees all the little technical details, right, really well.
I can't stand listening to Chris Collinsworth.
Listen, and my God, the thing that initially turned me off to him was when he was trying to analyze Colin Kaepernick's pitching motion, which is that was
bad.
That's something to look up. That was bad. But no, I think watching, because Phil Simms, and I saw it again in this game, he just seemed like it takes him a little while to really grasp the play. So I have
He needs some time.
unbelievably, I have a greater appreciation for Chris Collinsworth. I think he's a good color commentator. I wish Al Michaels was there. Al Michaels is the best play-by-play guy in football right now.
You want to know the best fact about Chris Collinsworth?
Tell me the best fact.
The name of his high school was Astronaut High School.
Are you serious? Where is that?
To Astronaut High School. I believe it's in Ohio because he's from.
Is it for astronauts?
Astronaut. You know what? I'll look this thing.
No, I got
Nope,
it. Nope,
it's in Florida.
It's in Florida?
Yeah. Actually, Daniel Tosh went there as well.
Really? Yeah. Oh my God.
There's your fun fact.
Astronaut High School is located in Brevard County.
And
in Titusville, Florida.
They're the War Eagles, so it's the Astronaut War Eagles.
Are they affiliated with Auburn?
I don't know, but that's absolutely terrifying.
The Astronaut War Eagles. I like that. I like that little. I like that tidbit. All right. Last point.
Please, we're taking too long on the Super Bowl.
No, it's fine. It's a big event. Super Bowl 50. They had gold numbers on the fields all season. It didn't click with me at first what that was about. But
wow.
Just at first. It took me like a quarter.
Quarter of the season.
In week 5, I realized what was going on. Um, okay. Fourth quarter, Carolina mental mistakes. That's like
What about him?
first of all, the Trey Boston hit, for
Yeah.
example, was bad, and then the Norman penalty in the end zone was bad on the last drive. Though it wouldn't have mattered if Denver kicks a field goal and Carolina's not going to come back from 2 scores. But the big one was when it was 16-10. Carolina has 3 timeouts. It's third down. Not yet the 2-minute warning. And strip sack, right? And the ball's sitting there on the ground. And Newton doesn't go after it.
And the worst part about it is
Standing
his
over it.
reason for it is his fear of injury.
You're not Peyton Manning. You're 26.
But he has no problem diving over
Yeah,
the
right.
offensive line into the
That's a
end
good
zone for a
point. Yes,
touchdown,
absolutely.
and then he'll hit the dab, and
But did you
that
see?
was pathetically bad on my part that I just tried to hit the dab.
By the way, I liked. Who was it? I think it was T.J. Ward. I liked after the game what he said when he said, if you don't want like Newton to celebrate and dab in the end zone, then stop him. And like that's what we did. Like I kind of like
That's
that.
exactly what they did.
I like that. That's a good comment.
Newton can't talk smack the entire time and then lose and then become a crybaby by walking out of his post-game press conference. That was
Oh yeah,
pathetic.
that's another thing. Do you think he could have shown better sportsmanship, I
Yeah,
guess.
and I mean,
But
the people who are comparing it to Belichick, though, and Marshawn Lynch are so off base because Newton has no problem talking to the media throughout the regular season and the beginning of the postseason. Lynch and Belichick don't want to talk to the media whether or not they just won Super Bowl, 48, or if they just got blown out in the playoffs or something. They just don't like doing it, and they're consistent with it. Newton only does it when it fits his own personal preference.
I think he'll mature though, because I think that was just a lack of because I don't think he expected to lose that game.
I don't think anyone expected
Right.
Carolina to lose that game.
I think I think maturity will come in time. So I'm not gonna. I can't really get on him like too much. I mean, it was kind of at least he admitted it like after the fact.
It was bad, though.
It was bad. No, I
It
don't
was
say
bad.
it wasn't. It was, but give him a pay. If he does it again, then
What would happen if your favorite Chris Collinsworth just walked out of the
he's
middle
not
of
my
a broadcast?
favorite. I'm just saying I appreciate him more.
What if Joe Buck in the middle of a home run call just left?
It's not the what. That's not the same thing at all.
I'm just looking at names of announcers right now. Just-
Yeah, no, but it's. I if he does it again, definitely shame on him
what if
even more. But
what if John Gruden is in the middle of talking about Spider 2i Banana and he just gets up and leaves? You can't do that.
I'm gonna miss Gruden. I love Gruden.
I love Gruden too.
Goodness.
I don't understand why he gets so much hate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think he does a great job for Monday Night Football.
I like him too. He's very much the Stephen A. Smith of like NFL broadcasts in the sense that he apparently knows and is friends with everybody.
John Gruden
Right.
and I are like brothers. We have showered together on multiple occasions.
Oh my god, how good was that?
Oh, that's fantastic.
All right. You got anything more on the Super Bowl? Let me see if there's anything else we really want to. But there's not much really more to talk about. I mean, Denver
Coldplay.
dominated the game. Oh yeah, you want to talk
Could
about the
not
halftime
be
show?
A halftime show performance. Not because they're bad. I love Coldplay.
I don't
but
like Coldplay.
Coldplay and the NFL just don't go together.
They disappeared halfway through the set.
Well, yeah, it became the Bruno Mars and Beyonce show.
It wasn't as bad as last year. I'm not talking about musical preference.
Who
Okay,
even was last year?
it was Katy Perry.
Oh, that was
It
fantastic.
was Left Shark here.
It was Left Shark. How can you not like Left Shark?
No, I do. It's I don't like when the Super Bowl halftime show like takes over the game. Let me tell you, the best to ever do it, right,
It was a U2.
was U2. That was great. You know who else was great in my lifetime that I remember seeing?
The Who.
I don't remember the Who.
Bruno Mars was good last year.
Bruno Mars was
Or two
great,
years
and I'll
ago.
tell you why he was great. Because he just sat. He had that little stage in the corner, and it was like it didn't seem to detract from the game at all.
Yeah.
I really like that, and
You know who was awful?
I like Springsteen too. But I mean that's kind
The
of like
Black Eyed Peas were bad.
I don't
Yeah, that
remember
was
them.
bad. I thought the Who were good. The Who was the year the Saints beat the Colts.
Oh
Then,
really?
yeah, then
Oh, I
Springsteen
do
was the
remember that.
Steelers Cardinals game.
I like Springsteen, but like Springsteen and I like the Rolling Stones when they were on. Tom Petty did a pretty good job, but that's more because I don't dislike their music, but from
Yes,
like a presentation standpoint, U2 and Bruno Mars 2 years ago with the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
that
that
was
was
good.
great.
That was good.
That was great. I didn't like it this year. It was too
It was it was like they were trying to do too much.
yeah. I the montage at the end I kind of liked.
Yes, I honestly I found it better when like honestly when they were all singing Uptown Funk, I thought that was pretty solid. Like when they all singing the same song, I thought it was pretty good. But when they tried to go from Coldplay right into Bruno Mars and then right into Beyond, it was like, wait, what? And then you were looking all sorts of different directions, wondering what was going on, and then all of a sudden everyone had flowers, and I was like, I
It
felt like I was in the 1960s or something.
Woodstock. It was kind of it was kind of bizarre.
Yeah,
I was not a fan, and I felt really bad for like and there's probably not a ton of true football fans actually at the Super Bowl.
well, yeah. When you get the
Right.
amount of money per ticket,
Right.
it's absurd.
Which is why I didn't mind it in New York because doesn't it seem like a lot of that would kind of chase away some of the people who would go there who aren't real true fans because of the weather?
I
I
guess.
think interesting, maybe. But for the true football fans who were there, really felt bad for the ones who had to hold up like they hold up the colored
Yeah.
cards. I was like, ah, no.
You've never been part of one of those?
Oh well, not at the Super Bowl. It's like I just want to watch the game. I felt bad for for the I'm sure depressed Panthers fans where they say, here hold up this piece of fluorescent piece of cardboard, I guess, for a half hour.
That's my guess. I'd guess it's cardboard.
It was something. I don't know. It's actually probably. I don't know. It doesn't matter what it was. I was not a fan. And speaking of the halftime show, this is kind of relates. Where did you watch it? Where'd you watch the game?
Down the hallway, this way,
Uh huh.
towards the loud people
Yeah.
who have subsequently gone back into their various dorms. Thank you.
I might be able to mute them out in
Oh,
post.
that'd be fantastic.
Dim the
But
volume.
in my friend Zach and Ryan's room, they have a good watching space. It's where we typically watch sporting events. It's where we watched the dunk contest last night. It's where we watched. No, we were home for Auburn, Clemson, or Alabama, Clemson. Basically, every big game we watched Notre Dame, Clemson in there. We watched Alabama, LSU. So that's our spot.
Did you watch it? Like, how many people were in the room with you?
One, two, three. RJ's awake.
Oh, RJ's there.
One, two, three, four, five, six,
Six. Okay.
six. Yeah.
Were they all football fans?
Yes.
Okay. I made the
We
mistake.
had we had a no girls allowed policy.
Well,
Not a single girl came in from the start of that game to when the clock hit zero. I did not have any contact with a female. It's fantastic.
that's very mature. I made the mistake of watching because I watched it with like 15 or 20 people.
Oh God,
Now,
that's
listen,
awful.
because listen, the big screen TV, I was like, all right, it's gonna be fine. Out of the, let's say there's 20 people, maybe four of them, including me, were big football fans.
That's a
Never,
problem.
never again. I am
Hey,
never in
that's your mistake.
that party group atmosphere awful because everyone shuts up for the game or shuts up for the commercials and plays the and
Going back to the dorm
you
room.
going in the room. Okay, I'll hold on a second. I might wait to make my point. Okay,
It's a
listen.
good day in the neighborhood.
So hopefully the sound will get better here. This is the most professional of all podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're very dark.
Well, that's about to change. There we go.
I probably won't edit this out. I don't. That's
Oh, this is fantastic.
That's a lot of work. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. Okay, so here we go. Talking about watching a group.
Yes.
Commercials come on, everyone's quiet. Games on, everyone is screaming at each other.
About the commercials.
About the commercials, it's like and it was like someone would throw an incomplete pass and people would go crazy. It'd be like nothing happened.
I know
watch the game.
one of the kids who I watch it with is like that, and he freaks out over the stupidest things.
I lasted 3 quarters. I lasted 3 quarters and then that was it. I was done.
Then where else do you watch it? By yourself?
Yeah, by myself. The way I should have watched the entire game. The way I should have watched it.
Seems like something. Seems like you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Never. If you're a true football fan, and you know the comedian Bill Burr, do you know who that is?
Yes.
He has a great bit about like true football fans don't watch don't go to Super Bowl parties. Absolutely agree. If you're a true football fan, you either watch with a small group of other football fans or you watch it by yourself. Because that was horrible Super Bowl watching experience. It was terrible. And then then the fourth quarter was better, but I was rooting for Carolina because I was salty about the AFC Championship game.
Always salty.
But it was, I don't know, it's still better. So that's what if I learned anything, it's don't watch the Super Bowl in a large group.
And the defense still wins championships.
And defense wins championships, that's right. All right, so.
Have we talked about the Super Bowl enough?
Have we talked it out? It probably, if we did this right after the Super Bowl, we could do more, but I think you wanna move on? Switch topics?
Yeah,
I just realized
gotta give the people what they want.
all 3 of them?
Oh yeah.
Including us. I just realized how bright it is back here.
You're fine.
This is like, this doesn't look super bright to you? Or maybe it's just my camera.
I mean, I can still make out your face and stuff.
Oh, no, I just meant like the background.
It's fine. What I'm gonna do...
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna throw on my light, which will give me more light and allow me to shut my curtain, which will then reduce the glare on my face.
Great. Man, I like how we're doing this in the middle of the show. Okay.
Yeah.
It's great. All right. Let's... What do you want? Where do you want to go next? Where do you want to go next? You want to do? You want
It's up to you.
You want to do college basketball?
We've got pro basketball, college basketball, Premier League soccer.
That's a short thing. Let's do that real quick. So tell the Leicester City story.
Okay, so in England, Leicester City, which is the Cinderella story of all Cinderella stories
of professional sports in like the past century.
They are currently leading on top of the Premier League table. Last year they finished in 14th in the Premier League.
They looked like they were going to get relegated.
Yeah, that's bad.
Mm-hmm. Out of 20, 14th out of 20, and then
bottom 3 get relegated.
Bottom 3 get kicked into a lower league.
Very nearly relegated, and they are currently on top of the Premier League, ahead of teams Arsenal, Chelsea. Well, Chelsea's garbage this year,
Yeah,
anyways.
Chelsea's having a bad year. I know they lost to Arsenal this morning, but
True.
they have a 2 point cushion on Arsenal. Um, they're up on Tottenham. Also, Tottenham's in third. Or well, hold on. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. Actually, I'm all right. So Tottenham won today as well. They beat Man City, which is another conversation um, in of as itself. But here, let me give you like the top of the table. So you've got Leicester on top, right? As we're mentioning, which is why we're having this conversation. And then Arsenal and Tottenham are both 2 points back. Man City is 6 back, and then Man United is 12 back, but they're not really in the conversation. So what was it? Leicester were 500 to 1 odds to win the Premier League this season.
5,000.
5,000 to 5,000 to 1 odds.
Just a small bit of a difference.
Just a little bit.
5,000 to 1 odds. And just to put that in perspective, the Cleveland Browns right now are 200 to 1 odds to win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, think about
200 versus 5,000.
Think about that. So, the big thing before the season was Claudio Ranieri is their new manager, and people were saying that this is exactly the opposite of what Leicester's style has been. So people were saying everyone, including me, picked them to finish last. Like they're going to finish 20th, and yet somehow, thanks to Jamie Vardy, who is unbelievable. If you ever get a chance to watch Leicester, he's one of the best players in the world right now. And just oh gosh, I'm not looking like a professional here. The name escapes me. Vardy's strike partner. Mahrez. Those two have like come out of nowhere, and suddenly they're relevant. And so, what is the story with? So this guy,
he's a carpenter. His name's Lee Herbert.
Okay.
He's 38 years old. He's in England.
Yeah.
He put £5 on Leicester City to win the Premier League at 5,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah.
£5 is about $7.25.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, if he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's in real good shape.
That would come out. He's projected to win £25,000, which is $36,265.
Like 36,000 ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Leicester City holds on after putting a $7 bet on them, he could win, $35,000. And so
this is the interesting part. Like the thing I know you're going to bring up next.
The betting agency, bank, whoever runs it, whoever he placed the bet with, is offering him, I want to say, 25, or no, not, well, the equivalent plate. So like 15,000 British pounds.
Yeah.
Which is about $22,000. To just take it now, and then the bet won't be, relevant anymore. He'll take the 15,000 British pounds right now, or he can hang on, hope that Leicester City hangs on and wins the Premier League, and then in that case he'd get, 25,000 British pounds.
Yeah. So here's the question: Do you take the money now?
No, I would. I'd go for the 25,000.
Oh, I would. I don't. Because are you really banking on, Leicester to beat out well,
What's
it
what's
looks like
the
it's going to be Arsenal.
what's the worst thing that can happen? You lose 7 British pounds.
Yeah, but you could have made 15.
Oh, whatever.
This is the
15,000 British pounds. Nothing.
it's you know what this is similar to. If you're on uh, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that, do you bail at 500,000?
No. Go for it.
Yeah, but here's the
Granted, this is
difference.
coming from the kid who always goes for it in
No,
Madden and airs it out deep and always wants to go for it.
but here's the thing. Here's the difference between that. You don't know what question you're going to get on a show like that, but we know Leicester, as good as they've been, is not. They're not Arsenal, and they're not Man City.
Cinderella stories happen.
I know, but will it? I don't know. I think
Well, how many more matches do they have left?
they gosh, it's 10 or 11. You want me to, Eric, let me
They've
take
played
a look right here.
26 so far.
Oh, so they have 12 left.
I'll take it.
With a
I-
2 point lead, as good as Tottenham has played recently, and as good as Arsenal has played.
Go for it.
I don't know. I don't think I'd have the guts to do it.
They have a better goal differential than Arsenal does. So, not
No.
nearly what Tottenham has, but
No, yeah,
plus
yeah,
their
I
their
don't know.
logo is a fox. They're the foxes.
And
Foxes are sly. Foxes
Fox.
win. Swiper no swiping. Like
I like your lot. So okay. Let me try to understand this. So based on the logo, you would
yeah, it's a fox.
you would take them. So because their logo is a fox, what if it was like a, I don't know, like a chicken or something?
And make it into a chicken nugget and eat it.
Okay, this is let's talk. Let's go on to something else.
We're drifting from Leicester City.
We're really drifting. So that is a story to watch though, because if they do win the Premier League, then this is one of the great stories in modern sports.
Leicester City
I
winning
mean,
Premier League.
being from the U.S., I don't think a lot of people appreciate it as much.
I don't
as
think
they
anyone
should.
knows who Leicester City is.
No, but they are. Well, I don't. I think a lot of people in England didn't know who Leicester City was before they actually made it into the Premier League last year.
True.
But like, let's put this.
They've never won the Premier League.
No, but that's not like that's not like uncommon though, because the Premier
Premier
League,
League's only been around since '92.
it's been around since '92, but here's what makes this even more incredible. 5 teams have won the Premier League since '92. Since it's
United,
5.
Liverpool,
No, Liverpool's never won.
United, Arsenal,
Uh-huh.
Chelsea, Man City,
Yeah, and Blackburn.
somehow.
The Blackburn Rovers. So United's won it 13 times when Sir Alex Ferguson was there. Chelsea 4, Arsenal 3, Man City 2, and then Blackburn 1. They're not even in the top flight anymore. So, and Liverpool's been near the top many times, and Tottenham has been too. But this is a league that's been dominated by 4 or 5 teams
And then Leicester
since its
City.
inception. Leicester City, that's what makes this amazing. And how amazing would it be? Because they would go to Champions League. If they just had to finish top 4 and they go Champions League. So can you imagine like Barcelona coming to play at Leicester City for a Champions League match?
Stranger things have happened.
Not much. Not much stranger. That would be
Well,
amazing. So I don't know. I wouldn't put my money on them.
Oh, I would. Go
But-
for it. Ride it.
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. Okay. Transitioning
Out of Leicester City and Foxes.
transitioning professionally into college basketball.
College basketball.
I saw an ugly one last night. In the
Was that
Maryland
Maryland,
game.
Wisconsin?
Oh God, that first half
Well,
was
Diamond Stone
brutal.
shoving Vito Brown's head into the ground didn't help.
No, and they just looked
Which, by the way, he does have the one of, if not the best name in college basketball.
Diamond Stone.
Diamond Stone.
It is a fantastic name.
That's,
For a big man, he's a great free throw shooter. But I can't compliment Maryland today because this is exactly why I am doubtful that they can win national championship. Because they let these lesser teams. First of all, they didn't shoot incredibly well, and
sounds like Syracuse.
they're very similar to Syracuse. Very streaky team, right?
Syracuse.
They either hit everything or hit nothing.
Syracuse.
Right? They are a great free throw shooting team, though. That I will
Not Syracuse.
But they're streaky, and they let these lesser teams. And Wisconsin's a good team, and probably a bubble team right now. They let these teams that they are clearly better than hang around, and as we saw last night, sometimes if you let them hang around, then they'll beat you. And I saw they snuck out a dodge against Nebraska. And they let Northwestern take them to overtime. I remember a game early in the year against Rider, which they were losing in the second half, and and that they eventually won. And now finally, Wisconsin hung around and beat them at home. So if you do that in a tournament, you're not gonna win all your games. Because someone eventually, like Wisconsin, will come around and will beat you if you let them hang around. So my fears were recognized.
Would you consider Melo Trimble's season disappointing?
No. I was hoping he would
grow a bit more.
Yeah, but he's not as his shooting is not as good as I would have liked it to be.
Yeah, he's 44% from the floor, 34% from deep.
Right. So
he's a good free throw shooter, though.
He's a great free throw shooter. Their entire team's great free throw shooters. I am concerned about because it all runs through him. The offense runs through him, and if he's cold, then they really don't have a shot, right? Or, well, I mean, sometimes, like the Purdue game, for example, which was last weekend, didn't shoot well, but they were able to get to the line, right? And
which was their strength.
Yeah, they hit all their free throws. But if they have trouble getting to the line and Trimble is struggling from the field, then I think they're in trouble. He's not a player of the year candidate.
No.
And
I think at this point, Buddy Hield basically has that wrapped up.
He is. He's player of the year. I completely agree with that. I don't know. I guess in that aspect, it's disappointing. Like that we thought he was going to be even better than he is, and he hasn't had a bad year. But,
no, not by any means. But
he's not been as dominant.
I'm looking at Maryland's schedule right now. With 4 losses, they don't. I think Wisconsin's really their only bad loss.
Yeah, it's not a.
And it's not even awful.
The way it happened was bad. It was worse.
Losing by 13 at home isn't good.
Yeah, but
only other losses on the road:
North Carolina,
at Michigan State,
at
Michigan, at UNC.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And they have a win over the current number 3 team in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are number 3, right? Iowa's 3.
Yeah. Well, they won't be, but because Indiana beat them this week. That's another team. Indiana, who should have been.
I'm on a podcast.
Oh, is that your buddy?
It's actually, yeah, it's Connor.
Oh, Connor. Okay, I lost my train of thought now. What are we talking about?
College basketball.
No, I know. But what specific? Okay. Oh, Iowa.
Maryland's
Iowa.
lost.
No, I was good. Iowa. Um, Indiana, to me, is prove themselves with that Iowa win, and I think maybe a threat in the tournament.
I think
Maybe
Indiana's battle
Indiana.
tested. I think
That's a good
they're
team.
experienced. Tom Crean's a great coach. He's connected to the Harbaughs, which apparently can do wonders for anyone.
Yeah.
Michigan football,
Mm-hmm.
example number one. I mean, Indiana started off the season rough, losing at home to Wake Forest, home to UNLV. And then, I mean, at Duke's not a bad loss.
No.
But then
And
they
Duke's going to
beat
be ranked again because they beat big win against Virginia.
Yeah, so it was a big win. Although Grayson Allen still traveled. Um, they lost at Wisconsin by 3 in overtime. They have wins over Notre Dame. They beat Wisconsin at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're up 35-26 on Michigan State right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, the loss against Penn State's not good, but I think Indiana's a good team. That is 20-5. Wow.
Yeah. Right. 20-5.
They're a quiet 20-5.
I know. I was surprised that they were unranked coming into this week.
Well, I think it's still the early losses that are holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Syracuse, not as much. We are 17-8,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously you look at Boeheim's suspension, and it's been a completely different team since they've come back. They've won on the road at Wake Forest by 28. They were leading by 30 something.
I mean, Wake Forest is.
They won at Duke.
Let's not get excited because they crushed Wake Forest.
They won at Duke.
That's a big win. That's going to look better if Duke keeps winning.
Yes. Honestly, what hurts Syracuse the most right now is that Texas A&M, who was one of our big wins earlier in the season, away from the Carrier Dome, which climbed the number 3 spot in the country at one point, can't beat anybody right now. They've lost 4 straight to unranked opponents.
I know, it's bizarre.
But we beat Notre Dame. We're in it to the last possession against at Virginia. That's a good game, but we just blew out Florida State. We're trending upwards.
I would agree. I would agree. Could be.
It's frustrating because they take overtime to beat Virginia Tech, but
hey, listen, a win's a win.
True,
a win's a win. I think this is a good time to bring this up. College basketball this year, actually, it's more entertaining this year than it's been in a while.
Because there's no definitive number 1 team.
There's no definitive top 5 even.
True.
Could you name the 1 seeds right now? Actually, that's a good. First, let's do that. Who are your 1 seeds right now?
Kansas,
I agree.
UNC.
Really? Okay. What?
Iowa.
Really? Oh, I'm gonna be I'm on a different wavelength.
Kansas, UNC. I'll hold off on Iowa. Villanova.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
Oh boy. Who else are you going to put in there? Because Virginia's not in there after losing to Duke.
I've got Nova, Oklahoma, Kansas.
All right, you would consider Oklahoma a 1?
Absolutely. That's not a bad loss to Kansas. Neither of those are bad losses.
Yeah.
And they lost at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, I'll give you Oklahoma. So they're my 4. Oklahoma, UNC, Villanova, Kansas.
I don't... Oh, man. Maryland and Iowa are just out right now. Xavier's...
They're 2s.
Yeah, Xavier's might be a 3. No, they're probably still a 2. Gosh. I'll say this. Oh, man, do I have to agree with you? I don't... West Virginia.
West Virginia's good. Here's a question.
Yeah, I know where this is going. Is this... I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to hear where you think it's going.
I think you're going to ask me what the best conference is.
No, I was going to say, what is Oregon?
What is Oregon? Now, after they lost again to Stanford?
Yes.
Gosh.
because they were probably at 2.
Yeah, it's probably a 5 now.
Yeah,
I put them at a 5.
drop them down.
They're
All
gonna
right.
really drop.
And when you think about it, remember when Syracuse a few years ago started out 25-0?
I
We
do.
beat the first year in the ACC. They lost 6 of their last 8 and ended up as a 3 seed.
Yeah, I I remember that because I have a friend who was attending Syracuse at the time, who like lost his mind after it was BC who beat him, right?
Yes, BC was their first loss.
Lost his mind when BC won that game. Oh, gosh, it was great. It's great to see.
It was great.
I love watching the pain of other sports fans.
Wow.
Like if I don't share it. Oh, you do too.
New England fan, you must love it.
It's great. Oh gosh. God, I I guess I would have to grudgingly agree with you and put North Carolina there.
I just don't think,
I don't know who else to put there. That's the
especially if options, other teams. Maryland's up there.
they're up there. I don't think they're there anymore though because they lost to
Virginia's
Wisconsin.
not there anymore.
No.
Oregon's not there anymore. Xavier's good, but
I don't know how
they wouldn't be a 1.
they're not as tested as these other teams. Even though the Big East is really good.
Michigan State's good, but
Listen. That's a dangerous tournament team.
You know they're going to make the Final Four
yeah,
too.
I was gonna say,
you know they're going to make the Final
Michigan
Four.
State's a Final Four team. Absolutely. Not a 1 seed right now, especially if they lose to Indiana.
Miami's good.
Yeah, Miami's good. I'm
But
still a little reserved on them.
Miami's not going to get a 1 seed. So, honestly, I think your 4 1 seeds will come out of the group of Oklahoma, Villanova, UNC,
Kansas.
Maryland, Kansas,
Yeah.
Iowa, and if Michigan State goes on a run, they could climb up there.
If they go on the run, especially if they win the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, with some help if other teams start to drop.
Did you say West Virginia?
No.
I maybe put them in there. I mean, I know they lost this week to Kansas, but that's not a bad loss.
No, it's not.
In Lawrence.
The losses, Virginia, at Oklahoma, that's not bad. At Kansas, not bad.
Mm-mm.
They lost at home versus Texas, but Texas is ranked. All right, they're a solid team.
If Xavier runs the table, then they're a 1. I think definitely.
I have trouble putting Xavier as a 1.
If they run the table, I mean, come on. They lost at Villanova and then against Georgetown. Oh, and at Creighton this week. That's a bad one. But if they win against Providence, Georgetown, Nova again, right?
Right now,
Seton Hall and Creighton aren't.
Right now, I'm
huge.
just hoping Syracuse beats Boston College today. That's the goal of today. Just beat BC.
That's you're in a tough situation when you're rooting for when you're praying for a win against Boston College basketball.
Well, I feel like it's a trap game. I mean, Boston College is 7-17, but I have no faith in Syracuse going on the road against a rival, beating Boston. If Boston College wins this game, I mean, if Syracuse wins, it's nothing. Oh, they beat BC. BC's terrible anyways. If BC somehow comes out playing strong and goes up on, Syracuse and beats them, that's fatal for Syracuse.
Well,
Fatal.
yeah, it might be.
With losses to St. John's and
That's
BC.
a bad loss. St. John's is a really bad loss.
St. John's hasn't won since playing us.
Yeah, I know. That's a really bad loss.
That's so bad. I don't think a win at Duke, which the wins.
Well, they're probably gonna go into the top 20 now after beating Virginia and.
They're Duke and they get everything.
No, it's not. They had quality wins this week. It's quality wins.
Grayson Allen traveled.
Is it strange that you are rooting for Duke technically right now?
No, I mean,
it's strange.
I've rooted for Duke before.
Really?
When they played Kentucky.
Oh, okay. That's understandable.
My question
That
is, how's Louisville going to play for the rest of the season? Because
well,
that's Syracuse's next big matchup. After playing BC today, we played Louisville on Wednesday,
that's
and
interesting.
at Louisville too. So
Uh, uh, well,
I'm looking at that. Like, I mean, they have nothing to play for,
yeah.
but
That's a, here's a question. Here's a good question for you here that I saw an article on this. Do you think that it was right to ban Louisville? Not like Patino should be banned from the tournament. Like or not banned, but he should serve
suspended.
as a service suspension, and he shouldn't be allowed to
Kind of
play postseason.
What Boeheim did
But should they punish the players?
years after it actually happened.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that doesn't sit right with me.
Well, why are wins vacated and stuff for
Yeah, I
it's an ongoing question of college basketball that or college sports in general
mhm,
is that how to deal with any sort of scandal, issue,
mhm.
problem that may arise in a program. It's do you punish the current players for something previous players did? How do you punish the current or the coach without punishing the current players? It's
I don't know. I wouldn't have. I think the way they should have done it is Patino or any coaching staff members associated with it should be suspended for the rest of the season, no postseason play, and let the players with a interim head coach move forward. That's what I think should be done. But that's an interesting point because they lost yesterday. Um, they lost yesterday, so I don't know. Is it still an impressive win if Syracuse wins this game? Do you think
at
at
Louisville
Louisville?
is a tough place to play. So
Yeah,
yes, I would say it would be. Um, I mean Louisville, like I said, tough place to play. I mean, they're still a good team.
I'm just a quick aside. Louisville's coming into this week is 13 in the AP polls. They're unranked in the coaches poll.
I knew they were 13th. I didn't know they were unranked in the coaches poll.
Texas is 25 with 69 votes. Louisville got 12.
Ooh,
You think there's some bitterness?
ooh. Might see. There might be a little bit of animosity between Mr. Patino and the rest of the coaches.
The o- the only votes that Louisville got were from teams that need their were from teams who need their wins against Louisville to mean something.
True.
But
Bet you Boeheim voted.
yeah, they lost at Duke and they lost at Notre Dame this week. Those
Actually,
aren't bad losses,
yeah.
but
Well, Demetrius Jackson played unbelievably. Actually, which is another thing. When we played Notre Dame on the Carrier Dome, Notre Dame was without Demetrius Jackson,
mm,
so
yeah,
something to think about. And just another thing to look at. If Patino, depending on what the punishment is for Patino, keep in mind that Syracuse, Boeheim got suspended for 9 games, and not only was he suspended, he was not allowed to have any contact with anybody.
yeah.
I am going to be very interested in seeing um what Patino gets as a punishment and what it looks like compared to Boeheim's, because even Jay Billis was going off about what Boeheim got, and that it just seemed
That was too much.
very unfair, I don't know, I don't want to say unnecessary, like that. Yes, there should be some punishment, but it was unprecedented.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that's the standard, I guess. So
But yeah, that's what I'm saying is I want to see what Patino gets, because if they're setting a precedent with Boeheim, then okay. But if he gets something, a slap on the wrist, then
Well, I guess the question is, do we? Would it be better to set a new standard, or would it be better to follow what's already been done?
I th- well, I think
I think
college sports are you know messed up to begin with.
there's a lot wrong with
They
them.
there
Yeah,
there are some major flaws.
but I mean, there's a lot wrong with professional sports too.
True, but there's some I don't want to say fixable flaws, but
Yeah,
there's some stuff wrong with college sports,
right.
and I think I don't know. It's a tough question, and I don't think there's a right answer to it yet. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I just think I'd be very interested in seeing how Patino is punished.
Yeah, no, I definitely, and that's something we're gonna have to discuss when that actually comes down. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a right way to do it. Almost.
Yeah,
So, I just overall, I feel bad for the players. It's not
yeah.
their fault.
I think anyone would.
And yeah, and they're one of the, they're probably would be a 4 seed probably. That's probably a 4 team and that doesn't get to go to the tournament. So I
And
don't know.
you think about the kids who maybe well obviously they made the tournament in years past, but
Yeah,
a freshman or something who, for example, if they're not in the postseason this year, and then the repercussions from the
yeah, and they don't.
tournament, like they don't go next year or something, it's awful.
Yeah,
And then you try and transfer, and then you have to sit out a year, or whatever the NCAA rules on that. Then
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I get it, it's unfortunate, but I think in a lot of these similar situations to this, unfortunately, it's the players who suffer the most.
it typically is,
Yeah, which is
and
which is sad. And
yeah, I feel bad for them.
we don't like sad things. So let's move on to something that's not sad, and it still has to do with college basketball though, and especially this year, this question is more relevant than it's been. This question is more relevant than it's been since like the new ACC, the Super Conference, best conference in college basketball right now.
Based on the season, or we can taking
This
precedent.
right now on when we're doing this on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon now in mid-February 2016, best conference.
It's a 2-horse race.
It's ACC, it's the Big 12.
It's nailed it.
And I'll tell you this right now,
It's the ACC.
Big 12 is better.
Big 12 is more top heavy.
Yeah, but like the top
I mean, the top is
the
excellent. You're
top
looking
is
at
most of the league.
Kansas, Iowa State,
Listen, okay,
Iowa.
right? Kansas, Iowa State.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, right.
Oh no,
Kansas.
Iowa's Big 10.
Yeah, Iowa's Big 10.
Yeah,
Um,
they used to be Big 12.
right now, right? Kansas,
Oklahoma.
West Virginia, Oklahoma, Baylor, Iowa State, Texas, all in order. All tournament teams right now. All in. I think this week. All in the rankings. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Texas Tech just beat 2 ranked teams this week. Right, so they're 15-9 with 2 statement wins. So all of a sudden, Texas Tech is a bubble team.
The ACC, though, you're looking at North Carolina, which is a 1 seed.
Right.
Virginia, which is a top 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Duke. Syracuse will make the tournament.
I don't think you're gonna win this argument, man.
Notre Dame's a top 5 seed.
But here's the thing, though.
Miami.
Here's the thing.
Pitt.
7. They had the Big 12. 7 out of the 10 are contenders. Right?
I want to see
ACC,
them in the tournament. Kansas is the only team I have faith in that will go.
Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma. And it's not only Buddy Hield. Isaiah Cousins is a real good player.
I know, but until I see it, they haven't beaten Kansas yet.
That's true, but they lost by 3 in triple overtime away. And then Buddy Hield didn't show up in the first half, and they almost
They lost at Kansas State.
That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. But it's the Big 12. That's what happens in the Big 12. It's just it doesn't really matter who you play, especially this year.
Yeah. But again, it's a 2-horse race.
No. For the conference title?
Yes.
West Virginia's in second.
I mean for like best conference.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. But I mean, the ACC, Florida State
is decent.
It's decent. They're not a tournament team. Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, NC State, Wake Forest, Boston College. None of them are.
Oh yeah,
they're all Pitt bubble.
Pitt's bubble.
Syracuse bubble. Probably on the inside right now.
We're like in 10 or 11.
Yeah, Clemson is very much on the bubble, but they have to really either have a really good ACC tournament or not lose for the rest of the regular season.
Well, do we consider Louisville a team?
No, yeah, we'll consider Louisville a team.
Louisville's a good team.
Louisville's a good team. So, I don't know. So, it's basically, do you want more good teams in a conference that's bigger, or do you want a higher percentage of good teams?
I think the ACC is deeper.
Well, yeah, there's more teams.
But like,
there's more teams, Aiden.
But you still have UNC, Miami, Virginia, Notre Dame, Duke, Louisville, Syracuse, Pitt, Florida State. 9 teams.
They got 9 out of the 50. Well, did you include Florida State there?
Yes. Florida State's a good team.
All right, fine. Well, all right, if you're going to include them, Kansas, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Baylor, Iowa State, Texas Tech. And then
Florida State's better than Texas Tech. Yes, they are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I until they play head to head. Actually, I should look and just make sure they haven't this year because I'll look silly. They probably have. Florida State probably blew them out. No, they haven't played this year. So, I don't know. I will give you this. I would rather. Well, I think. Boy, actually, no, I'm not going to give you that because I just changed my mind. I think. Would you rather play in the ACC or the Big 12? I think that's a question.
For me?
Yeah.
If I were incredible at basketball?
No. Let's say if your team, and I guess Syracuse is your team, but if you could pick, if you were entering Division 1.
ACC.
Right.
Because losses, it's more associated with being good. So a loss to an ACC team, even if it's not as good of a team as the Big 12, still, because it's more history there, people will look at it differently.
No, but you have...
Just like the SEC may not 2 years ago have been the best conference in football, but an SEC team is still looked at as being better. It's just what's associated.
No, SEC is best in college football.
It is. It was this year, and I still think it was. But for a year when Ohio State won the title, they weren't.
I don't know.
They were awful in bowl games that year.
They were bad, but I don't know. You have to look at the body of work. The ACC, here's the difference. You get a bunch of gimmies in the ACC. Every year there's a group of 6 or 7 teams that are gimmies.
And Boston College is always one of those.
Boston College is always one of those teams. And Wake Forest without Chris Paul. Always. And Tim Duncan. That's right.
And Arnold Palmer.
Big 12, you only have 3 gimmies. They play the same amount of conference games.
And hey, don't consider BC a gimme right now. They're only down 3 against Syracuse. Why?
Listen,
It's halftime.
well, they played North Carolina tough.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but
Give them that.
it's
Yeah,
just like, bro.
you're right, and also what you have to take into consideration is, I guess it is a rivalry game. That
Yes.
that is a weird rivalry. If you Boston
Yeah.
College and Syracuse.
Goes back to when they were both in the Big East.
Right now, it's it seems like, especially in football, right now it seems like they're only rivals just because they're the only two teams that are like
Bad
close.
enough to like
They're really
compete
bad
against.
enough and close to each other.
Yeah.
But I don't. The Big 12 scares me more. The Big 12 scares me more than the ACC. Right now,
Tournament time, I'll take the ACC.
we'll see. We'll talk about that when the bracket comes out. But right now, I'd rather play North Carolina than Kansas.
Not in the tournament.
I'd rather play Miami than West Virginia.
I haven't watched Miami enough or West Virginia
I'd
enough.
rather play Virginia than Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma's star-studded.
I'm going down the standings, comparing like first place to first place, second place to second place, and so on. I don't know, and I'm not bad mouthing the ACC because that is obviously a loaded conference, and next year they will be the best conference, clearly.
Yes.
But this is just, I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird off year where
Well, I think because there's no definitive, Duke isn't as strong as they typically are.
Uh-huh.
UNC is incredible, the most talented team in the country, and yet loses to Northern Iowa, Texas. Only beats BC by 3.
Yeah.
They aren't playing up to what they should be,
Right.
and they have a tough stretch coming up now,
Mm-hmm.
where they play Duke, then they have to Miami, then they have to go at NC State, which is not easy.
Yeah.
Then they are at Virginia, not easy. They, have that tough matchup at home against Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go at Duke. They finish up at Duke, and then they go right into the ACC tournament. So I think you're going to find out a lot about UNC over the next few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. We'll see. Certainly see. Listen. They're definitely a Final Four contender.
Yes.
I mean, even if they have a rough end of the season.
They're the most talented team in the country.
Yeah.
Look at that roster.
They're up there. I won't dispute it. I won't
Marcus
dispute it.
Page is incredible. Justin Jackson is playing like a All-American right now. And you tell me you want to go up against Kennedy Meeks, Bryce Johnson, and Isaiah Hicks?
No, it's a great roster.
Kansas is second.
Kansas scares me a little more right now.
Kansas is very, very good. I feel like they're similar in a lot of ways. Very experienced, very talented.
There's your national championship matchup right there.
Oh God, Roy Williams against Kansas again.
I was gonna say again, that's not the most original of matchups, and we know Michigan State will be in the Final Four too. That's actually another thing. That let's not shortchange the Big Ten either, because that's a really good conference this year. Now, I don't think that they'll be as successful in the tournament as the ACC or as the Big 12, but Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, and you can argue Wisconsin now will all get in.
We'll see.
So now I'm not. They're not in the same category.
Different style of basketball
Right,
too.
right, and they're not in the same category. But it will be.
But hey, the Big Ten won the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
That's true. And we know Michigan State will make a run, and I'm convinced that Indiana can make a run too. And I assume, even though I don't have a whole lot of faith in Maryland right now, I mean, that's still, at the very least, a Sweet 16 team. Probably more like Elite 8. But, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
That we will.
Yeah. Um. All right. So, do you have to get out of here soon? Should we?
Relatively, it is halftime of the Syracuse game. Yeah.
Okay. So before we go, we're gonna do four verticals, four things to watch this week from each of us. Um.
You can start off with one.
You
They
want
do
me to?
not have to be sports related.
Okay. Gosh. And I think I will stick to sports. Um. Champions League. I think that's where I'll start. Champions League knockout stage. Do you want matches in specific?
Sure, give me one.
Give you one. All right. I got it. Let me. I'll give you the cream of the crop. Um. How? Let's go with. Uh. Thinking. Um. How about let's go Tuesday, 16th of February, PSG against Chelsea. Give you that off season for Chelsea. It took me way too long to think of that. Chelsea awful season in the Premier League, so it will probably need to win the Champions League to stay in it next year. Um, and PSG first place by a long shot in the French league. And this is a rematch of last year in a game or a matchup that Chelsea really should have won, but coughed up in extra time. So there you go. PSG Chelsea, Tuesday at 2:45 Eastern time.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Wednesday night, first matchup of Duke UNC this season.
Yes.
They're the best college basketball. Well, all right, I can't. I was about to say they're always the best college basketball games, but after watching Kansas and Oklahoma go at it twice, I can't say that. But
that's gonna be tough to beat.
It's the best rivalry in college basketball. You know you're going to be in for a good one, no matter. I don't care where they're ranked, who's on each team. They're going to play each other tough. They're going to play Duke unranked. I don't care. They'll put up a fight. It's at UNC the first time, so look for UNC to win. But if Allen can minimize Page and Chase Jeter continues to improve, there is no player on that. The most talented player on the court is Brandon Ingram, and I don't think UNC right now, unless they put Justin Jackson on him, which then leaves Luke Kennard open. I'm not sure they have the guy to match up well against Ingram. So
right,
should be interesting.
Early prediction.
Say UNC by 3.
UNC by 3.
By attacking the post with Meeks, Johnson, and Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
Because without Jefferson, Duke's a different team.
Right. That is a must-watch game, actually. All right. Thursday night, post NBA All-Star break, I'm gonna go with Spurs at Clippers.
Okay.
Thursday, 10:30. As bad as that loss was to actually both teams have really bad losses to Golden State. The Clippers early on. Do you remember the game? Chris Paul had 20 something points in the first quarter, and then they blew a 24-point lead.
Seems like something the Clippers would do.
Awful. And the Spurs, as bad as that loss was, still one of the most dangerous. Probably, I might put them a shade behind Oklahoma City right now. Which, by the way, how good will that inevitable Western Conference semifinal matchup be?
Fantastic.
San Antonio, Oklahoma City.
Nate can take his Russell Westbrook hate and shove it out the window, throw it up.
That's right now, Oklahoma State, and not including Oklahoma City, not including Golden State because they're on a different planet.
True.
But Oklahoma City's the best team in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Again, ignoring Golden State. We're not
Yes.
talking about them because that's a whole different thing. So definitely, but again, Spurs Clippers, great matchup. San Antonio, as bad as that loss was to Golden State, still unbelievable team. And I mean, I'm looking forward to that rematch with Golden State even more than this. But this is a good start. This is a good teaser. All right, continue. Your second of the four verticals.
Thursday, you chose an NBA game. I'll take the NBA trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
February 18th. Look for. Oh boy, there have been enough rumors flying around. I'd say there are some teams I think that have to make a trade. I mean, I don't want to say Boston has to make a trade, but because I would be perfectly content if I'm them sitting there and with that Nets pick,
Ben Simmons. Ben
with that
Simmons.
Nets, they own the Nets' future. So
Yeah, it has to be like DeMarcus Cousins or somebody.
I mean, the names have been discussed: Love, Cousins, Al Horford, Hassan Whiteside. But I think the only two, Cleveland, yeah, Cleveland's reportedly discussing or discussed at some point Melo to Cleveland, Love to Boston, and then the Nets pick to New York.
Oh no. Don't do
If
that.
you're a Cleveland fan, you do not want Carmelo Anthony.
Well, you don't want to do that from a Boston perspective.
I also agree with that.
I almost want them to. I as a Celtics fan, I really want them to just sit back and
Yeah, I mean,
hope that you
they're
get
still
Ben
young
Simmons.
enough. It's not like their window's closing and they have to make a trade.
Yeah, and listen, that's a really good team
Yeah, and honestly, all they're
right
missing
now.
is a superstar.
That's right. It is. They have the best supporting cast in the NBA. Only problem is they don't have a superstar for them to support.
Say they win Best Supporting Actor every year, but don't win Best Actor.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They are a fun team to watch, though. I have
Good.
I have
I, it was a great game the other night against the Clippers. Isaiah Thomas versus Chris Paul.
yeah. Man,
It's good.
Isaiah that he is. Why did
One of the most underrated players in basketball.
right? What if he? I am just mystified why he didn't start sooner than he did.
Because people have doubted him because he's 5'9".
Don't matter. Don't matter, man. All right, moving on. I'm gonna go to the NHL. Actually, Wednesday
Okay.
night. By the way, NHL this year for whatever reason feels it's more I don't know more electric this year than it's been. I don't know how to describe it. It's just appealed to me more as a fan this year. Blackhawks Rangers Wednesday night. Yeah,
Ooh.
Blackhawks right now, and this very well could change before the game, but right now as we're sitting here, Blackhawks tied for first in the Central Division, 77 points. Rangers a far second to the Capitals, who are having a historic season.
I do not care what the Capitals' record is.
They can't win the playoffs.
The Blackhawks are the best team in hockey.
Oh,
Until
that's where you're
proven
going with
otherwise.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Until Washington does something in the playoffs, they could win. They could go 82-0 for all I care.
Yeah, listen, and that's what makes the NHL playoffs. I think it's the most exciting postseason in professional sports because unlike the NBA, if you're a one seed, does not at all guarantee like an easy first couple rounds.
Yeah, I mean the NBA just isn't deep enough.
The NBA, listen, at the NBA, if you're a one seed in the NBA,
Unless you're the Mavericks playing the Warriors back in like 06, 07, or
yeah, you're gonna go to the East to the conference finals unless you run into a tough team in the second round or just implode in the first round, which doesn't it doesn't
or
happen.
you're the Bulls and Derrick Rose gets injured and then you end up losing to the 76ers.
Well, injuries aside, but I mean, and we've seen it in the past, right? With the Kings won the Stanley Cup as a 8 seed,
Yeah.
right? And it was Actually, it was the Capitals as a 1 seed. I remember back in there when they were, the 1 seed in the East every year. It seemed like I remember them losing to the Canadians, who were an 8 seed. So it doesn't matter, but I don't know. Great having a great regular season, even though it doesn't mean as much in hockey as it does in other sports. But Rangers, Blackhawks, Wednesday night. Besides being one of the most aesthetically pleasing matchups, I think actually like talent wise and game wise, it will be fantastic. So definitely looking out for that one. Not Washington. I got the Capitals on the mind. Rangers Blackhawks on Wednesday night.
All right, I had 2 in a row. Now you go.
You had 2 in a row?
I did.
Oh my gosh, is this my last one? Is this my last chance to impress?
Well, what have you said so far?
I've said
Rangers, Blackhawks,
Clippers, Spurs, and then Champions League, PSG and PSG, Chelsea.
Okay, yeah, go, and then I'll wrap them up.
Well, man, I'll tell you. You know what? I'll go with. I wasn't gonna go with this originally, but I changed my mind. In honor of my infatuation with the Big 12 right now, I'll go with a Tuesday night. Iowa State at Baylor, 14-21. I think Iowa State's is going to be dangerous in the tournament.
Iowa State's going to be like a 3 seed, as they always are, and then make a run to like the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they won't make the Final Four because that doesn't happen with Iowa State, but they'll make a run. But Big 12, both teams are 18-7 right now. Both teams 7-5 in the conference. And with the way it's gone, the winner of this game technically isn't out of the running for regular season conference champion. We've seen stranger things.
True.
So, Iowa State Baylor Tuesday night.
All right, Thursday. Man, Thursday is a big day in sports.
Yeah, man.
NBA trade deadline, Clippers, Spurs, pitchers and catchers report.
Ah, yes.
And it is the start of baseball season. It is one of my favorite days of the year, and it's going to be good.
Not as good as opening day, but
true, but it just gets you thinking baseball season's back.
That's right.
But it should be interesting. Obviously, nothing really happens the first day. No position battles are decided.
It's symbolic.
It's symbolic.
The symbolic significance.
Baseball season will be back Thursday, but tomorrow night.
Oh God!
February 15th.
No.
Grammys time.
The worst award show of them all. Doesn't make any sense.
Song of the year,
and
album of the year, record of the year.
I would be totally okay and supportive, oddly enough, of one of the albums of the year if it gets selected because it was amazing, but it won't pick it.
Which one's that?
Kendrick Lamar.
To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly. I totally could see that best out. It wasn't the best of the year in my opinion, but it was like for me it was top 3. I totally support
1989.
that. That's gonna win it, and it shouldn't. This is a topic I don't know. We're not no.
What about song of the year?
Gosh, I don't care. Honestly,
actually, I'm not that bad.
They don't.
I'm not a huge Blank Space fan.
These awards.
That's Taylor's only song on there.
These awards don't make any sense, and they're always wrong. Always wrong. They never get it right. At least, and I'm not a big award show person. At least the Oscars generally are respectable in their selections, and I will watch the Oscars this year. The Grammys are never get it right.
Look for Uptown Funk to win big.
I can't believe they have the wrong people voting. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Actually let some music critics vote.
Although, hey, best new artist, Meghan Trainor could win, and we both went to high school with her. So.
Yeah,
connection.
It's a bad album. Okay. All right. Gosh, the Grammys just make me angry.
February 15th, tomorrow night. Tune in.
Right. Hopefully this will be up by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. Gosh, there really isn't any really entertaining sporting events that night either, is there?
Nope.
Jesus, nothing. Whole lot of nothing. All right. Well, enjoy the Grammys, I
I will.
suppose. I will.
You won't be.
I will. I will
You
not
won't be
be.
tuning in.
I will not be tuned into the Grammys. I think that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's.
It's gonna wrap it up.
I think that wraps it up. So, very professional
Oh yeah.
first episode.
Changing locations 9 times.
Changing locale halfway through the show. That's fine. At
Eh?
least we'll see what we can do about the sound. But
Yeah. I mean, we'll do it differently next time, and then
it'll be it'll be much more professional, I guess.
True.
Maybe. Probably
Hopefully.
not. Probably not actually. I don't know. All right.
All right.
All right, so I guess that'll do it.
I have to get to the radio station.
Yeah, man. I'll stay on with you for a quick second, but I guess that does it for episode 1 of the Chirp.
All right, I'm taking the headphones out.
Well, yeah, you do that, and we will we'll see you next week for the second episode.
The Chirp Part 2.
Yeah, man. All right. See you later.
Bye.